Today, I will embarrass myself. So today, before I totally share stories of embarrassing things that have happened to me, I must make mention of the great Adam West. We lost a legend. He played Batman in the 60s TV show, and although that's not the Batman that we know of today, that sure was the first major Batman that really was mainstream. And at the time of the comics, it was true to what the comics was of Batman. And he played the character great, and he will be missed. So now, let's get to some stories of mine that I must share with you, because I promised that I was going to embarrass myself. So that's what's going to happen. So used to, in my teenage years, I would throw up a lot. And I have thrown up in some weird places. There's one story. I actually puked at my friend's house. I was staying the night at his house. I must have been, I don't know, 16, 17, and maybe younger, I don't remember. But it was the middle of the night, and I had to puke. There was, across the hall from the room that I was staying in, was the bathroom. But the door was closed, so I thought that meant that, someone was in there. So I skipped that, and then I walked across the house, which how I was able to do this while, needing to blow some chunks is beyond me. But I made myself walk around the house to the front door of this house, on the opposite side of the house, and for some reason the screen door was locked. So I was, trying to get out. Somehow I was able to get the screen door open, which later we found out that was not supposed to get open. But I guess when you got a puke, you have this superhuman ability to be able to open doors. But but before I was able to open it, I puked all on that door. It was bad. And then my friend John and his dad was cleaning up after it, and they were like, "Why did you walk across the house to the front door to puke? I don't understand." When there was a bathroom right across the hall, I thought that it was being occupied. So that's one story. Another one was I puked at Whataburger, which this became known as Puke Fest, because another friend of mine, Wesley, also threw up. But I really had to puke, and I was walking around a bush. Apparently, when I got a puke, I kind of forget my surroundings, and I don't think straight. But I was, like walking circles around this bush. And a friend of mine was like, "Hey Vic, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." Because I guess it's the inner man in me that I never want to admit that I have a problem, even though I clearly am sick to my stomach. And I end up throwing up right there next to the bush. And then apparently my friend Wesley, who has a weak stomach, especially when he sees someone else puking, so he decides to puke himself, and so that became Puke Fest, 2009, I want to say, or it could have been earlier. I don't know, but that's been a few years now. There was another situation. I was also staying the night with the same friend, and he used to have a fish, and which was named after the fish from Rocky, Butt Kiss. and so he had some fish food, and our friend Dylan was there too. So he decided that while I was away doing something, I don't know, he put some fish food on this piece of pizza, and they were like, "Hey, I want you to eat the pizza," and I didn't think anything of it. So I eat the pizza, and a few minutes later, they were like, "We gotta tell him." So they told me, "Hey, on that pizza there was some fish food," and for some reason I felt sick to my stomach. So I went across the hall, to the bathroom because I learned from my mistake, and turns out that I didn't really have to throw up. I kind of felt sick to my stomach, but by the time I got in there, I was okay, and so I decided to use the bathroom while I was in there, and so a few minutes later, John knocks on the door and was like, "Hey man, are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." So I guess the door was unlocked or something. So they walked in, and they're like, "Oh man, I'm sorry," because I was sitting on the toilet, not throwing up, and it kind of surprised them. And funny story, a few minutes later, John's sister walks in on me too. It was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Vic." Woo, that was okay. Another situation, going past the puke thing. I was at my friend John's house. He's my best friend, so I would often spend the summer with him. Anyways, and I was staying with our friend Kevin, and it was early in the morning. He had woken up before Kevin and I, so the details of the story is kind of fuzzy because I was asleep during the time. But from what I was told, he woke Kevin up and had him, get behind him. And he got a paintball gun. And he thought it'd be hilarious to wake me up by shooting me. And he shot me right in the butt. So I wake up immediately, and I'm like, "Ah, you shot me in the butt!" Yeah, what a way to wake up. While we're on the subject of me sleeping, we often stay up late, when I'm at my friend John's house. So this was me and Kevin were at John's house again. I had gotten sleepy, so John was on the computer doing something, and Kevin was playing video games, and I got tired, so I kind of decided to take a nap. And I think there was like a suitcase or something that I had placed over my head. And the guys didn't realize why I did this, but really it was to kind of hide the fact that I was sleeping, which is kind of stupid in hindsight. But anyways, and so Kevin decides to throw a game case at my head. And so I'm sleeping, and I feel this game case go to my head. So what I do is I don't say a word, but I wake up and I walk around the room totally, and this whole time, they're just laughing their heads off, which makes me even more mad. So I walk around the room for a good probably 30 seconds, maybe less, I don't know. After doing that for a good 30 seconds, I say, "What the heck was that?" Which they busted out laughing. Which, they then apologized and let me know that they were aiming for the suitcase and not for my head. But, the fact that they were laughing made it even worse on me. Because I was like, what? I mean, because to me, if someone throws something on my head, immediately I expect an apology. But they were laughing their heads off, which, in retrospect, it was really, really funny. Another situation, going back to puke stories. I haven't shared this story to many people because of how embarrassing it is. But I'm going to share this story for you guys, for my YouTube community. I was on a date with a girl. We are currently not dating, obviously. But it was the first date, and we went to Olive Garden. which probably not the best place to go on a first date. Yeah, it's more like. Anyways, and so I guess I was nervous about the date because during the date I got a little sick to my stomach, as I often do, and I kind of ate my food, and I tried to act like nothing was wrong, and then so after the date was over, we went to the parking lot, about to say our goodbyes and whatnot, and finally I got totally sick to my stomach, and I threw up right there in Olive Garden parking lot, and she was helping me out, letting me have some gum and whatnot, and so yeah, so I got lucky because after that horrible date, she still went on a second date, and we ended up dating for a few months there, and so it wasn't a complete waste, but yeah, that's probably one of my most embarrassing stories right there because because of the situation. So if you like more stories like this, I'm going to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. And Nick will be back shortly, but he's out of town right now. So like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.